still going up. Ah!
I can't shoot it.
Miller!
Shoot, Artyom!
Shoot! Miller, come in!
I had to wait for him to say shoot before it allowed me to shoot.
Сука! Come
Come
on,
in,
Miller. I've been wounded. You keep in touch with Artyom. Over.
Roger that, Colonel. Over.
The laser won't do us any good here, Artyom. The clouds are way too thick. You've got to climb as high as you can and set the guidance system up. Move, boy, move! Everything depends on you now.
Hang on. Alright, I want to spend a minute looking through those notes. I feel like we're near the end of the game, and I still have got no explanation for how any of this happened. So the only thing I can think of is to look through some of the notes here that I have been neglecting. Let me see what some of these say. Hunter arrived at the exhibition just on time. I like to think that was not just blind luck, that it was fate at work, and that it was the same fate that made Hunter choose me to travel to Polis with his report on the Dark Ones. It seemed I've dreamt of visiting Polis, the great legendary center of the Metro, the center of our civilization, my whole life. But a chance to actually make that dream come true just had come by now of all times, when my home station desperately heeds every fighter it can field. Probably needs. Do I have the right to abandon my adopted father, my friends in an hour of danger? Where is my place, next to them on the barricades or at the far stations where Hunter sends me? I don't know for sure, but I still set out on a journey. I'd like to believe that I am summoned by fate. Chase. It was the first time I had left the safety of my home station. It troubled me that I haven't told my stepfather the truth. I would not be heading straight back for Riga, but Hunter was depending on me. Riga. Riga Station was only the first stop on my journey, but the caravan went no further, so before parting ways, we drank to celebrate our survival. The vodka didn't drown my fear of traveling on to Polis alone, but I was about to find myself with an unexpected and notorious partner. Note. What was that? Strange shadows and voices, whispers, weeps, they were silent, and yet they still resound inside my head. There are lots of tunnels in the metro associated with terrifying legends, but I've never heard anything quite like this, and I hope I'll never anything like this from now on. We got incredibly lucky in escaping that place with our lives. Note 2. Rishskaya. Back home at the exhibition, we always considered this station's dwellers somehow unlucky. They always used to be in trouble, be it their pigs catching some mysterious bug, their tunnel ceilings leaking, or their merchants getting too immersed in the celebration of a good deal at the market and drinking all the money away. The people of Riga are nice and hospitable, but they sure are clumsy. We used to pity them and poke fun at them a bit, for we were on top of things. We at the exhibition knew life, and now I actually envy them. They live in peace, they haven't even hear of the Dark Ones, and even those who did never believed what they heard. But if I fail, the Dark Ones will wipe this station out in an instant, and these happy, clumsy people with their peaceful, clumsy life will be gone. There will be blood and emptiness. I've got to hurry. Note 3. There's a saying in the metro, nothing worse than a chance fellow traveler, but nobody else to rely on either. This bourbon guy sure is strange. Why would he need me? He obviously knows these tunnels like the back of his hand. Somebody told him that shit does not affect me, and he bought it. I don't believe it myself, and he does. Well, no use thinking about it. I'll be quite happy if he just gets me past the market without trying to quietly snuff me in a dark tunnel. Lost Tunnel. As I entered the abandoned tunnels with Bourbon, I wondered if I'd been going wrong to trust him. But the station gates were still sealed, and there's no telling when I'd have another chance to leave Riga. Note 1. Bourbon is definitely not as simple as he tries to seem. Yes, he's rude, and his sense of humor is rough at best, but the things he tells about his exploits, and even more, the things he prefers not to tell, prove he is way too sharp for a regular smuggler, and his knowledge of the situation, not just at the nearest stations, but even the ring as a whole, is mind-boggling. All the passages and tunnels, even the long abandoned ones, are well known to him. He is quite at home in combat, which means he saw his share of dangerous encounters. He's definitely much more than a regular smuggler, of that I am sure. Market. I've never seen a market like this. You could buy almost anything, but Bourbon owed money to the hands of centuries and was anxious to leave. Note, yes, I'd never get here without Bourbon. He's at home everywhere and he knows everyone. Sure, as I suspected, the locals did have some old gripes with him, but looks like Bourbon sorted it out, which is hardly surprising since Prospect Mira belongs to Hansa. Hi. Oh. Thank you. Is it salted? Thank you. Which is hardly surprising since Prospect Mira belongs to Hansa, a trading union of the Circle Line stations, the richest of the metro states. The citizens of Hansa, their wealth ensured through trade in other states, and free stations understandably value profit above anything. I think Bourbon had betrayed their trust before, and now he surely had to promise he'd pay them back with interest. The only problem is that there's a saying, thank you, better to be indebted to the devil than to Hansa. He's going to have a tough time paying them back. Dead City. When we emerged into the ruins of Moscow, I felt both fear and sorrow, but after a life underground, I also saw strange beauty in the dark skies and frozen landscape. So that's the Dead City, grunted Bourbon. Welcome home, Artyom. Dry. As we went underground, it struck me that my city was now a foreign and hostile place. I felt safe here in the darkness of the metro more so than Bourbon claimed to have friends at Dry Station. It seems that men like Bourbon are born with a noose on their necks. They spend their lives walking the edge, risking everything every day, and they think they can keep it up forever, but you can't cheat death. You make it a habit out of walking the abyss's edge. One day you fall. What am I telling myself? Why am I telling myself all of this? To persuade myself I'm not guilty of his death? That he had it coming anyway? Sooner or later because he made his own fate? No. I'm doing this to drown out the little voice in my head that keeps nagging that I could have saved him. Could have changed his life somehow. He was not such an evil man after all. It's never us, it's the world we live in, and what right does Khan have to judge anyway? Ghosts. Khan's appearance caught me by surprise, although while fighting the bandits, I did sense someone helping me from the shadows. Khan assured me that Bourbon's fate was not tied to my own, but I regretted his death. Note, I'm used to danger, used to the fragility of human life. I saw with my own eyes monsters that shouldn't exist. I walked the ruins of a city populated by the dead, but all of that was real, conceivable. The things going on around Khan, on the other hand, are way out of my reach. I feel uncomfortable around him, even scared. When he's around, everything, all I know about the world, people, death, even myself, starts seeming nonsensical. I have no point of reference, nobody to rely on but Khan himself. Another random encounter, or perhaps not so random after all. Cursed. Khan led me into Cursed Station. The name was no accident, its people were locked in an endless war for survival. Once this used to be a regular station, lived in, even prosperous. One of the stations where not only heavily armed fighters can survive, but also old men, women, and children. Even the mutants came as if from nowhere. They were innumerable. The Cursed, sure, then it was still called its own name, fought back with all it had, but the means proved inadequate. The defenders were forced to abandon all of their roadblocks in the tunnels, one after another. Then they barricaded the main platform and had their last stand there. They fought to the last child and were able to evacuate to the neighbor station. The last old lady carried there. To the last bullet. Wait, hold on a sec. What? To the neighbor station, the last old lady carried there to the last bullet. Okay, this feels like they skipped some stuff. When the bullets were gone, those of the barricades all stayed there, and the Cursed Station got its name from the saved wives and children of those who'd stayed there forever. And that is what awaits our exhibition if I don't pull my task off. And perhaps not just the exhibition, but the whole metro. Armory Station was where most of the weapons in the metro were made. There had been an arms factory located above, and after the nukes fell, many of the workers settled there. I was looking for Andrew the Smith, but he found me first. There are many in the metro who hate the Reds because they are afraid of them. The Reds always go hungry, even though they work around the clock. They are told they toil for a better future, but year after year, their lives get even more miserable. They fight with abandon, as if not afraid of death at all. Their commanders just throw them away, piling their bodies up to block enemy gun emplacements, spending their lives as if their charges were immortal. But they are mortal, and they die of exhaustion, of overworking, of bullets fired by their enemies, and of their own commissars ordered to shoot those retreating. They are told they are superior, that they are made of steel, not flesh, and that is why I pity them. What do they live and die for? The idols of the past are long gone, but they are kept in the dark about it. The slogans they communicate with are meaningless and in the new world. They are prohibited by speaking or even thinking freely. Anyone asking questions is deemed a traitor. Anyone who says life's better outside the red line is a spy and a saboteur. You have to hide everything human about you and become just like the rest of them. But there are also people like Andrew the Blacksmith here, people who refuse to abandon hope and who persevere. If I were in his shoes, I'd be long gone. Why is he still here? Is he afraid of being shot making his escape? I was not wrong about Andrew, I just grossly underestimated him. He is not afraid of running, he just does things that take much more guts than that. Andrew helps others escape the Red Line, risking his own life every minute. He and his friends saved lots of refugees using a network of abandoned passages and forgotten tunnels, which the Reds are still ignorant about. The refugees usually take this literal, and at the same time figurative underground railroad to get from the Red Line to the Metro proper. But for me, Andrew is working it in reverse. I need to get to the front lines of the never-ending war between the Red Line and the Reich. I'm taking the train, which is delivering a fresh load of cannon fodder to the meat grinder. The important part is to know when to jump off. Front line. Even the apocalypse didn't stop us from killing one another over ideology. I was about to go through the front line between the Nazis and the communists. I've heard that once they fought another war and that the Nazis lost. The Red Line was no worse enemy than the Fourth Reich. They say they've been at war for 100 years. Different nations, as if urged by demons, choose a side in this conflict and sometimes, like in the Metro, split and fight till both sides are destroyed. The Reich is supposed to be a complete opposite of the Red Line, but why does it look so similar? Poverty and hunger, forced labor and endless rallies, rambling of the politicians and empty eyes of the plebeians. They also talk in slogans, and you can't doubt what you're told there either. They do believe a different thing though. Supposedly, it's enough for all mutants to be eradicated for things to magically fix themselves. Racial purity is no longer relevant, these Nazis are all for genetic purity. And since the norm is defined by the politicians, anyone can be deemed a mutant. It's the stormtroopers who ultimately get to decide who gets to live and who dies, and this fight can last forever. They treat the spies the same way they do it at the Red Line, so I can't allow myself to get captured. Trolley combat. When I came to my senses, I lost all hope. Nazi prisoners were used for slave labor or target practice. Depot. After a firefight with the Nazi trolleys, it seemed we would have an easy road ahead. Once again, I was wrong. Note 1. An awful death. My companions are dying one after another, and I can't do a thing to save them. I actually feel they sacrifice themselves just to keep me moving forward, but am I worth that? I myself would readily die if that would get Hunter's mission completed, but do I have the right to make the others pay the price? Who gave me this right if I do have it? Was it Hunter? Was it the Lord? Or did I just usurp it? I just don't know anymore. I like that read. That one feels very human for all the deaths he's seen around him. Hang on, chat. My wife brought me lunch a few minutes ago, and I've been reading nonstop. Let me have a few bites here. My wife made baked ziti last night, so I got some leftovers. After Pavel's death, I was on my own. Somehow I had to reach Black Station. Ullman would meet me there and take me to Polis. Note, she offers me some bullets for saving her child, as if I had a choice, but apparently what used to be a natural before looks strange now, and what would gross out the world then does not raise any brows today. What do I do? Decline the reward and insult her? Take the reward and acknowledge that I saved a child just to rake up a reward? The days when a human life, a child's life, was priceless and couldn't be paid for are long gone. Today we all have a price. The bullets I'm given for saving the boy seem like a good deal. Usually the price for a life is only one bullet, just enough to take it. I went up again, to the gloomy charm of post-apocalyptic Moscow. I was warned in a whole station about a new squad of Nazi rangers on the surface. The Nazis were in a hurry to finish off the defenders of the cursed station. They weren't even prepared to wait till the animals do this for them. Of course they need the station, but they need the living space, but whom would they populate the station liberated this way with? So few children are born in the Metro, and those who actually grow up are even fewer. Sukhoi once told me that 15 million people used to live in Moscow alone. And now there are not more than 50,000 of us in the Metro, and perhaps on all the planet. And yet we continue murdering each other with gust, as if we still number in millions. Only ashes remain of the 6 billion people that once populated the Earth. Ashes and dust. They are all around, they crunch beneath our boots, they disguise themselves as sand and clay, dust and snow. And we richly water them with fresh blood as if hoping to grow some crops out of such soil. It was clear that Black Station was occupied by fascists, but Ullman had said he'd wait for me there. I had to risk it. We all wear impenetrable armor. Even after taking off one's vest or all the clothes altogether, one still stays clad in head to toe. We are afraid of opening up to people, showing our feelings, afraid of someone understanding our thoughts. We hide our faces wearing gas masks, but there's one more mask beneath that one. Ullman, the indomitable optimist, the light-hearted jester, I had only seen his real face when the comrade died. Tired to death, almost desperate, that's how he looked. For only a moment later he had his armor back and was his regular funny self again. I didn't try to get him to open up again, it's not the Metro way, and I'm certainly not opening up for anyone myself. Metro kills the belief in miracles, but teaches you to live without hope. And still, I can't find any explanation for me being able to successfully negotiate the labyrinth of the Black Station, full of Nazis, mind you, short of a miracle. As if I was led by someone. Was it my stupid undying hope, or perhaps fate itself? Polis. It's hard to describe my feelings at the moment. Exhausted, yes, but joyful. I had made it. Once I delivered Hunter's message, the rescue of my home station could be decided by those stronger and wiser than I, and my task would be over. The Council's decision shocked me, but Miller's plan gave me hope. Once more, I climbed up to the bones of Moscow to search for the secret of D6 and a way to awaken the horde of missiles. The Rangers call their base Sparta, and themselves, either jokingly or seriously, Spartans. They do fit the part, mind you, ready to die rather than surrender. There are also few, just like their historical counterparts. Each of them is a seasoned fighter worth 10 regular soldiers, but they just don't have the manpower to fight a full-blown war or stand against the legions of the Dark Ones. That's why Miller's plan is our only chance. Find a still operable missile launch site, command the missiles, and burn the Dark One's nest to cinders. If we pull it off, our casualties should be minimal, while my home station and the Metro with it saved. Seems like a perfect plan, but something is worrying me. There seems to be a weak spot in it, something that's not right. I can't shake the feeling that we're making a mistake. So my thought is, at some point in the past this happened, and at that point in time, humanity had access to tons of missiles, right? This obviously didn't work then. So, I don't have a lot of hope that this is going to work now. Depository. I was alone again, and soon I would look into the eyes of fear literally. That was the librarians. Archives. The underground depository was a frightening place, and I had no idea where or what to search, but I refused to think that all my efforts would come to nothing. What are these librarians? We gave these creatures this funny name just because they were way too horrible to remain unnamed. One thing is certain, they are no mere beasts. I have no idea the clay did radiation molded these abominations out of. Jeez, okay. That was probably a terrible translation. But they are definitely too smart for regular mutated animals. I see a glitter of intelligence in their eyes, and we don't know what is it that they see in our eyes. But you don't run, don't fight, and just keep staring directly at one of these, something happens, and you get to keep your life. Even though one of these can crush an experienced and well-armed fighter like a bug. Could it be that when looking into human eyes, they recall, however vaguely, that once they were humans too? I thought they looked like gorillas. I found the D6 documents, but Miller had not yet returned. Without his help, I wasn't certain I would be able to get out of the library alive, but everything depended on it. Dark tunnels, wheel rattle, and the smell of death, that's how our journey to D6 began, but our goal seems closer now. The chaos of the tunnel was locked away behind the airlock gates. They seemed invulnerable, and at the moment, so did my comrades. Everything seems to go well. Ullman keeps up his jokes, Miller keeps threatening him with extra time on duty, the goal is close by, and nothing can stop us now. We win every encounter. Hunter was right when he said that there never was and never will be a more terrifying predator on Earth than human. We were close to D6 now. It was hard to believe that we'd found the legendary command center, but was it worth so many lives? Soon we'd know the answer. I still find it hard to believe that all of this was built by humans, not giants from ancient fairy tales. And it's not just me, even the larger-than-life, ever-jovial Ullman noticeably shrunk when he considered the sheer size of this place. What was this complex supposed to be? What was it built for? Where did its personnel go, and why hasn't anyone in the Metro ever heard of it? A carpet of spent cartridges on the floor. One would think a fierce battle took place here, but there were no bodies or bones. What could have transpired here? Once again, we're going to the surface, and this time we come prepared. Ullman's joking about our strides making the earth tremble, but I feel like actually feel it tremble. God, these translations, man. After all we had come through, nothing and nobody will stop us. The enemy is going down, turned into dust and ashes, the way we also treated our enemies. One thing eludes me, why don't the Dark Ones try and stop us? Are we coming straight into their ambush? The weird premonitions still pestering me are becoming even more sinister. Miller and I left the train, then climbed up the tunnel to the Korolev Performance Hall. We were close to Ostankino Tower now. In the frozen streets, we joined the other Rangers in the furious battle that began my story. One labored step after another, we're rising up the tower. We come from underground and we're storming the heavens, lead clouds all around like impenetrable walls. The steps are badly decayed and crumble beneath our feet. The wind seems to be strong enough to peel our skin off our bones. We aren't welcome in the heavens, our place is down here. Down there. Alright, that's it. So, no. That was cool, but the reason I started reading those, I was hoping for more lore to find out, how did the apocalypse happen? I got nothing on that. Alright, he's alive but injured. What? Okay. The little sign's like, hey, here's the ladder. So I jump on the ladder and he goes, you died. Oh. That's not good.
Don't waste any more time. Go.
I'm trying. Dude, what? Okay, just reload me. I don't know what's going on with the ladder right now. Apocalypse happened. No, 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 don't tell me, don't tell me. I'm just waiting for the big reveal. Like, if it doesn't reveal it by the end, then I might ask you guys, like, what's going on.
He's here, he's here. He brings death.
Huh?
He's coming to destroy us.
Hmm. Hang on. Did you not watch the beginning cutscene about what happens? I don't remember a beginning cutscene about, like, what happened. I'm all alone now. I have to do the most critical part myself. Nobody to shove the responsibility onto. Nobody to ask for help. The fate of the human race is in my hands, as well as the fate of the Dark Ones. And with each step taken, my assuredness and justice of my actions dwindles. With each step, I'm asking myself more and more questions, the kind of those which could be answered by Khan only. But Khan isn't here either. I'm alone on top of the world, and I can see things I couldn't see from anywhere else, hear things I couldn't even imagine, feel the presence of the Dark Ones. I hear them, strange images crowd in my mind, echoes of alien thoughts echo in my head. I know that the Dark Ones can enter the minds of men, driving their victims insane. Could this be what's happening to me? I must make it, I must stay sane, I must target the missiles, I hope I can. Okay, what am I supposed to do right now? jumping puzzle? I like how he's slapping the ice. Get out of my way. Yeah. Are you serious? This guy doesn't have the ability to reach out and grab. Bro. This is Chalice of Tears. I can't climb the ladder.
Stop him. Stop him.
What?
Destroy him.
What?
Come in, Artyom. Come in.
Yeah, I'm here. Oh, now I can climb the ladder? What? Okay, maybe that cutscene had to trigger, and then I was able to go up? Dude, I thought I was supposed to jumping puzzle that thing. Like, it wouldn't let me interact with it earlier.
Artyom, this signal is just perfect. Hold on for just one more minute and we'll get them.
You will be stopped. He cannot be allowed. We'll destroy him.
No matter where I look, there's a box.
He cannot be allowed.
Whoa, he almost made me go off the cliff. Wait, did I go off the cliff?